Are you someone that is constantly saying the diet is going to start on Monday? Then Monday rolls around and maybe you had the best intentions and even did all the prep and everything like that, but either you don't actually start or you get into Monday, you do okay, and then we get into Tuesday and then something happens. Maybe there's donuts at the office, a friend wants to go for lunch, or you forgot to take something out of the freezer to defrost all day and now you don't have anything to make dinner with. And then you cave, you fall off your diet, you maybe have the donut, go for the lunch, eat whatever you want, etc. And ultimately things go awry. And then your next thought is, fuck it, we're just gonna eat whatever we want, screw the diet, and let's just get on with it. And then maybe you see yourself in the mirror or the pants that you're wearing start feeling a little snug. And then comes the shame, self-loathing, and judgment spiral. You basically start saying things to yourself that you would never dream of uttering to another human being. You shame and loathe yourself for being this way. You start asking, what is wrong with me? Why don't I have enough willpower? And I am a fat loser and always will be. And I bet this narrative usually continues until you finally pull yourself together and you say, we'll start again on Monday. But you know what's going to be different this time? This time, I'm not going to fall off. This time, we're not going to falter. Everything is going to be perfect. Monday then rolls around again, and well, you know the rest of this story. So does this sound familiar? Like you've probably had it happen before. I know I sure have, and I'm sure many of you also have. But what exactly is going on here? Well, this is an addiction to trying to be perfect. Now, let me explain. You see, at some point in your life, you develop the belief that being fat equals not being good enough. And if you are fat, well, you did it to yourself. You just didn't put down the fork and go for a run. Now, this may have come from a caretaker that was close to you. It definitely came from society, but everyone has a slightly different way that they come about developing this belief. And with this belief in the fact that I did this to myself, then I must be the one to fix it. And until I do, I will not be good enough. I will not be deserving of a happy and fulfilling life until I lose this weight. Now, how do we treat ourselves if we don't feel like we're good enough and that we did this to ourselves and that we fell off our diet again because we are the problem? Well, of course, we shame and judge ourselves. Shame, judgment, and self-loathing, that's what we deserve because we did this to ourselves. We deserve this. Society has been telling it to us. A caretaker has been telling it to us. So it clearly must be true. And you know what we start to believe is the cure to get rid of these feelings of shame, judgment, and self-loathing? Well, we believe that aiming for perfection is the way that's going to make it go away. If I can act, look, and live perfectly, then I can avoid all those feelings of shame, judgment, and self-loathing. As well, society will finally accept me and I will be good enough. And best of all, if I can adhere to my diet perfectly, then I can lose the weight and that's going to be a whole other thing that's off my plate too. I mean, how exciting, right? And maybe you can also see some of that all or nothing type thinking that a lot of people deal with. But we have a bit of a problem. Have you ever achieved perfection? I know I haven't, and I've yet to meet someone that has achieved it, and that's probably because perfection is not possible. We can never achieve true perfection. And hell, I wouldn't even be making this video if that was the case. And hey, if you're getting some value out of my channel here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out when I post another video. As well, don't forget to check out the OG members membership side of my YouTube channel where you get the exclusive perk of doing a live with myself. You can bring your questions, concerns, and I will answer them all in real time. As well, we've got some other great content and ideas that are coming down the pipe for the OG members, so make sure you sign up today and don't miss out. So how is striving for perfection an addiction? Well, every time you fail at your diet and you fail at being perfect, guess what happens? We end up experiencing the very thing we're trying to avoid: shame, judgment, and self-loathing. We believe that our failures are because of us. I am the problem. There is something wrong with me. That is until, again, the shame, self-loathing, and judgment convinces us that, well, we just need to try harder. We just need to put more willpower forward. And guess what? We just need to be more perfect this time. And round on the merry-go-round we go. And thus we continue to strive to be perfect and trying to avoid these feelings, but end up just running right back into them. And unfortunately, as long as we continue to stay on this nightmarish merry-go-round ride, we are forever going to struggle with our weight or trying to make any kind of changes that we want in our life. We will forever and always be saying, the diet starts on Monday. And in fact, you'll actually get to the point where you don't even start anymore. You'll constantly be saying, I just need to get started. I just need to get that ball rolling. I don't know what I need to do, but that's all I need to do, and then everything will work itself out. But will you actually? Let's imagine that every time you shame, blame, and judge yourself, you're actually shaming, blaming, and judging the 15-year-old self inside of you. And do you think that your 15-year-old self, if they were being constantly scrutinized, put down, blamed, shamed, etc., do you think that they would really want to keep trying doing these things, that it's just going to lead to more blaming, shaming, judging, and self-loathing? Probably not, right? And hey, if you are struggling on your weight management journey and you're looking for some additional support, or maybe you just have some questions, you can check out the link down below in the description as well as in the first comment there, and you can book a one-on-one consultation with myself where we can chat, I can answer your questions, and I can provide you some tips and tricks on your weight management journey. Or if you think you need something that's a little bit more comprehensive and longer term, definitely shoot me an email. Email is down below as well, where you can reach out to me and we can discuss a more intensive and longer term coaching solution for you. So how exactly do we overcome all of this and actually start striving towards the thing that we want in life, whether it's losing weight or just feeling no shame, blame, and judgment anymore? Well, there is no quick, easy fix, but having the awareness that hopefully I've just created for you in this video is a big first step. Unfortunately, you've got about 1 million more steps that you're ultimately going to be working on for the rest of your life to overcome. As for more practical things that you can start doing, one of the first things you can try is cutting your 15-year-old self a break. They are really doing the best damn job that they can. They don't know any better. They have developed these patterns and habits that came from a long time ago. They developed this belief to begin with. They didn't choose to develop this belief. This is just what was told and presented to them. So cut them a fucking break. The second thing I want you to recognize is that your weight isn't your fault. Your weight isn't a personal failing or a flaw of yours, or that you deserve to have this happen to you. In fact, I have yet to meet an individual who woke up one morning and said, I want to be fat. I would like to spend the rest of my life being biased against, discriminated against because of my body size. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. I choose to be fat. It's not a matter of just putting the fork down and going for a run. There is so much more in terms of the complexity that is obesity that contributes to an individual's weight. Everything from our genetics, to our environment, to our lifestyle, to this internal belief of trying to strive for perfection because we believe we're not good enough. If it was just as easy as eating less and moving more, well, I wouldn't have a job. The next big thing that we want to look at is moving away from perfection and moving towards mastery. Mastery is becoming the master of something. And to master something, that means you have to fail and then ultimately try again. And I know perfection, doesn't that sound kind of similar? That's what you've been doing up to this point in time. The big difference here though is that when we fail at something we're trying to master, we don't look inwardly. We don't say, I am the problem. Instead, we look at the system that we're using and the things that are external to us. What are the things that aren't working for us and our life and our genetics and our physiology and our family, etc., etc. And so to give you kind of an example of what mastery might look like. Someone who's been trying to get up every morning to go to the gym, they might say to themselves, you know what, I've been trying to get up every single morning to go to the gym at 6 a.m. But quite frankly, 6 a.m. workouts, they fucking suck. And that's why I don't keep doing them. So why don't I try to find a different time, a different day, or a different method that's going to work, that's going to allow me to get that activity that I want to get, but isn't a 6 a.m. workout. Do you see what we're saying there? They were looking at the external system and they weren't looking at themselves and saying that, well, I just don't have enough willpower to get out of bed at 6 in the morning. The next biggest difference here is that mastery allows us to learn from our failures. Whereas perfection, we just keep doing the same thing over and over again and trying harder this time and expecting a different result. And you know that quote from Einstein that didn't actually come from Einstein on the definition of insanity? Yeah, that's what perfection is. Mastery lowers the stakes. It takes our self-worth, our self-esteem, it takes those things out of the equation, and it allows us to actually learn and look at the things that are external to us that aren't ultimately working for us. It doesn't involve shame and judgment and putting ourselves down. It says, okay, how can I do better? What can I fix here? What can we do differently, etc. And mastery, most importantly, sets us free. It allows us to recognize that right now, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're working on, you are good enough. You have always been good enough. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not flawed. You are not ugly, horrible, and all the other things that you say to yourself. You are a beautiful, imperfectly perfect human being. Mastery allows us to recognize that, whereas perfection simply doesn't. The final little tidbit here for you guys is that I want to recommend that you start small. Start small, start with goals that are focused on behaviors, such as, I want to try and eat veggies 3 times this week, or I want to try and go to the gym 2 times this week. Focusing on behaviors, because behaviors are 100% in our control. The number on the scale, not so much. We want to start small and we want to increase over time. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life, start a brand new diet, go fully keto when you've never done keto before, etc., just simply doesn't work. Because ultimately, when we strive for that perfection, we increase the stakes and we put so much on ourselves, and we're trying to avoid that shame and blame that we increase the stakes, we take the fun out of it, we take the curiosity out of it, and we take that away, that ability to actually enjoy life and be present in the moment. So focus on mastery, challenge yourself, look at how can I get better, what can I strive to do better, and not strive to be perfect. So in conclusion, that is the weight loss perfection merry-go-round from hell. Moving away from perfection is something that is going to take a lot of time and a lot of work. We essentially have to unpack decades and years of I am not good enough and ultimately reframe that narrative and continue to work on it, be aware of it, and not let it sabotage us along the way. And I definitely do recommend therapy if you aren't already in it, to have someone support you and help you that is kind of a third party to look at helping you to move from that perfection type mindset and to move one towards mastery. And while all of this is certainly very, very challenging, it is some of the most important work that you will ultimately need to do for you and your 15-year-old self. All right, that is it, and that is all, my friends. I know this is a slightly different video than what I usually do, so be sure to leave your comments and thoughts and stuff like that down below. I will do my best to answer them, and I appreciate any good quality feedback. As well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out when I put out another video. As well, check out the OG members membership side of my YouTube channel, where you get the exclusive perks of doing a monthly live with myself. As well, we've got a whole bunch of other content in the pipeline right now, so be sure to come check it out, and I appreciate the ongoing support. As well, check out all my other links down below. I've got my Amazon storefront. As well, you can get to my other social media channels, or you can use my handle at the official Dr. Dan. Again, the support and follows are always very, very much appreciated. So until next time, my friends, always remember that it's going to be the small tweaks that are going to lead to your massive peaks.